Good evening, and welcome to this free webinar on how to deal with burnout. My name is Laurie Bedard, and I'm a certified clinical counselor and the founder of LJB and Associates Counseling Services. I am also an executive contributing author for Brains Online Magazine, where I write a monthly article on mental health and mental well-being, as well as on, to raise awareness about mental health issues. In this workshop, we're going to discuss the concept of burnout and 3 ways to help prevent and manage burnout. So let's start by defining burnout. Burnout is a state of chronic physical and emotional exhaustion, often associated with prolonged stress, particularly occupational stress. It's characterized by 3 main dimensions. There will be emotional exhaustion. So, if you're experiencing burnout, you may often feel drained, emotionally depleted. Burnout can cause you to struggle to muster up the energy to face your tasks or duty, and may lead to feeling overwhelmed. Then there's depersonalization or cynicism. So burnout can lead to feelings of cynicism, feelings of detachment, um, feelings of negativity or callous attitudes toward your work, your colleagues, clients, if you're working with clients. And it's often a coping mechanism to try to distance yourself from stressful work situations. And the third is reduced personal accomplishment or efficacy. So, if you're suffering from burnout, you may often feel a lack of personal achievement or competence in your work. You may perceive your tasks as increasingly difficult to complete, or you may feel as though your work just doesn't matter and lacks meaning. It's important to note that burnout is not officially a recognized disorder in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the DSM-5, but it is widely recognized as a significant mental health concern. In fact, in 2019, the World Health Organization included burnout in its international classification of diseases, which we refer to as the ICD-11, as an occupational phenomenon, not a medical condition, further emphasizing the connection between work and this form of extreme stress and fatigue. While it's often associated with work, burnout can also occur in other life areas where an individual experiences chronic stress. It can be experienced in the role of a caretaker, as a student, so in academics. And if left unaddressed, burnout can contribute to physical health issues such as headaches, gastrointestinal issues, sleep disturbances, and mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. And recently, it's not posted here on a slide, but and because it's becoming a more talked about condition, is actually parental burnout. I've been hearing a lot about parental burnout. It's something that I think a lot of parents experience, but have never felt they were able to voice that because of the connotations of parenthood. Is supposed to be this wonderful time and what have you. So, but there is more talk about parental burnout. Um, so if you're experiencing burnout, you're definitely not alone. It's become a major concern in modern workplaces around the world. On some relevant statistics and facts about burnout. Um, as far as prevalence, a Gallup study of nearly 7,500 full-time employees found that 23% of employees reported feeling burned out at work very often or always, while an additional 44% reported feeling burned out sometimes. So those numbers are quite significant, and burnout has some important health effects, as mentioned previously. It's been linked to a lot of, well, quite a few health issues. According to the Mayo Clinic, these can include heart disease, high blood pressure, and of course, mental health problems like depression and anxiety disorders. Uh, Furthermore, burnout can lead to negative behaviors such as substance abuse or alcoholism. The same Gallup poll study that I mentioned a minute ago suggests that burned out employees are 63% more likely to take a sick day and 2.6 times more likely than engaged employees to actively seek new jobs. Um, a study by the Society for Human Resource Management in 2020 found that more than 40% of workers felt drained, exhausted, or burned out from work. So if you think about that number, it's quite significant. That's almost half. Um, that's quite significant. In a in a 2019 study by the Canadian Mental Health Association, it was found that 58% of Canadians reported feeling overload as a result of pressures that are associated with having to do it all. Uh, having to go to work, keep your social relationships with your family, social relationships with your friends, um, stay in track of your physical health, volunteer, do community service. So a huge, significant proportion of Canadians feel that they're overloaded just with the amount of things they need to do, work included. The same study indicated that among people ages 18 to 34, 63% reported feelings of overload. So these figures highlight the widespread impact of burnout and the importance of tackling the issue, not only for the individual that's experiencing this burnout, but because burnout affects workplaces and economies as well. It's been associated with decreased productivity, high job turnover, and increased healthcare costs. The Harvard Business School found that workplace stress, including burnout, accounts for healthcare spending between 125 and 190 billion dollars annually in the U.S. The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated feelings of burnout as well, especially among, I mean, it's not a surprise to anyone, but among healthcare workers, but also with workers who are working remotely. A study published in the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine in 2021 reported that 51% of US workers surveyed were experiencing burnout. 51%, half. So, with 35% attributing it directly to the pandemic. So, burnout isn't just a North American issue, because it's been reported in numerous countries across the globe, especially in high stress professions like healthcare um, and education. In Japan, they have a term, karoshi, meaning death from overwork. So, demonstrating the extreme levels that workplace stress can reach. So far, we've learned that burnout is a complex syndrome. It can have various effects and it can manifest physically, it can manifest emotionally, you can have behavioral symptoms. Here are some of the most common physical signs and symptoms of burnout: constant fatigue and tiredness, frequent headaches, muscle pain or changes in appetite, changes in sleep patterns, lower immunity. And if your immunity is low, this will result in getting sick more often. If you've experienced or are experiencing burnout, you may have other symptoms as well. When I experienced burnout in 2019, I was frequently nauseous and had an upset stomach, so I had more gastrointestinal issues. The symptoms I mentioned are only the most common, but they can take many different. They can show up in different ways. Um, Emotionally, some common symptoms reported are feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, feeling defeated, loss of motivation, reduced interest in commitments or activities that you may have previously enjoyed. And when we do lose interest in activities, this is a state called anhedonia. Not clinically, it's not the same as depression. It's just not experiencing joy in anything. You may have, again, increased cynicism, negativity, feeling overwhelmed, emotionally drained, detachment, feelings of isolation, decreased sense, decreased satisfaction or sense of accomplishment. And as with physical symptoms, it's entirely possible that you've had symptoms that aren't mentioned here. Um, I'm just pointing out the most obvious and common ones. Everybody's different, and we all experience burnout, anxiety, depression in varying ways. Behaviorally, some behavioral symptoms can include when you find yourself procrastinating or taking longer to get tasks done than usual, skipping work or coming in late and leaving early, isolating yourself from others. This is something that I defaulted to in the 2019 burnout. I just didn't want to be around anyone. Not that I didn't like my coworkers, but I definitely needed um, time alone to be alone. I just didn't feel like I didn't have the energy to be with people. You may also experience decreased productivity or performance, and many of us turn to using food, drugs, or alcohol to cope with stress and get us through to the next day. My vice was probably food. Um, so many people find themselves in a situation where they're experiencing burnout, but they can't leave the job. I left my job. I left a long career from the state of my mental health. But a lot of people can't lose their job. So, what can you do? One of the things we can do is to bring about a sense of mindfulness, more of a sense of being present, or use the relaxation techniques that you can use at any moment. Could be you can use them at work to settle your system, sort of deal with the rumination. It's not a cure for the burnout in the sense that it's not going to solve the problems that you're having at work. If your burnout's associated with having too much work, having a demanding boss or anything like that, but it can help you deal with those things more effectively. So mindfulness is a form of meditation rooted in Buddhist tradition, but it's been adopted by Western psychology due to its practical benefits for stress and reduction and overall mental health. It involves bringing your attention to experiences that are occurring in the present moment without judgment. So it's not about faking feelings. It's not about finding feelings. It's not about being positive. It's about just noticing what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and not judging it. So just noticing what you're thinking, noticing what you're feeling, and sort of being present and kind of like if you imagine it like clouds that are passing by, instead of attaching other feelings or going ahead to the future when you're thinking about how you're feeling. There are some key elements to mindfulness and relaxation. And the one thing I wanted to iterate is that this can be done by anyone, anywhere, at any time. there is a bit of a misconception and something, sometimes people are held back from wanting to try mindfulness meditation or relaxation techniques, because what I've heard a lot in my practice is people saying, I'm not good at it, I can't meditate, I can't relax. That's taking on a fixed mindset, whereas maybe you couldn't achieve these things in the past. But a growth mindset is that I can learn how to do these things. And there's really not a wrong way to do it. So a lot of people think there's a right or a wrong way. I think when you're getting started, the best thing is to approach it with a growth mindset and say, I've struggled remaining mindful. I've struggled with relaxation techniques, but I really think I can learn these techniques and use them in my life. So when you're getting started, really give yourself that grace. If you can't lay down, don't lay down. If you have to keep your eyes open, keep your eyes open. Um, and there's all different kinds of meditation. There's mindfulness, there's guided meditation. So as you practice it daily, you will become more at ease with using it. It's like anything, it does take practice. So practice and a growth mindset. So let's do a little something together. We'll do a little mindfulness exercise. We'll see how you feel. Just try to find any comfortable position in your chair or anywhere that you feel relaxed and grounded. You could sit on the ground and just listen to my voice. You could lay down on the couch, whatever's comfortable to you. Stand up. Remember, it's okay if your mind wanders during this exercise. Again, that's the human nature. It's not about not having our mind wander, it's about what do we do when it does. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to gently bring your attention back to your body, because we will be doing a body scan exercise, a mindfulness exercise. So if your mind wanders, just bring your attention back to your body. Just notice that your mind is wandering and then continue on where you are. You're not doing it wrong. If your mind wanders often, that's a little bit of a some information letting you know that maybe this is something you should be practicing. Okay, again, get comfortable, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and allow yourself to relax. Feel your chest rise and fall with each breath. Take a couple of breaths here. Find a natural rhythm. Bring your attention to your feet. Notice any sensations you're feeling. Could be warmth, could be coolness, pressure. Maybe you're not noticing anything. That's okay, no right or wrong. Try to observe what you're feeling without judgment. Slowly shift your attention up to your lower legs and then your upper legs. Notice any sensations, tensions, relaxation, anything that you're feeling. We're just here to notice. If you encounter tension, try to exhale and release it. So breathe in calm, release tension on the exhale. Now move your attention up through your body. Notice what you find in your abdomen. How is it feeling? Is there a warmth, coolness? your chest. Take note of any sensations like your breathing, just your heart rate, your heartbeat. Just take a couple of seconds here to listen to your heartbeat. Notice any other sensations you're feeling in and around your heart. Bring your awareness to your hands and your fingers. Notice what you're feeling. Just notice it. Don't judge it. Move up through your wrists, your arms and shoulders. Notice what you're feeling. What part of your wrist or your arms or your shoulders needs attention. Bring some loving attention to this area. And finally, bring your attention to your neck and your face, the top of your head. Notice any sensations of tension. Notice any sensations of relaxation. And now expand your attention to encompass your entire body. Take a moment to feel your whole body at once, grounded and relaxed. Bring your attention back to your breath and the natural rhythm of your breathing. Take a few deep breaths. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes, stretch, move in the way that your body wants you to move. And as we move on through the webinar, try to maintain some of this awareness of your body. What's really important here, more important than the type of mindfulness you practice, the type of meditation that you choose, the type of relaxation technique, they all take practice. So if you found this exercise difficult, that's really okay. That's information. With regular practice, it'll become easier to focus your attention and to notice your body's sensations. Letting go of what's supposed to happen and just let yourself notice what is happening is really the key. So if you've not done any of these kinds of mindfulness or relaxation, just remember that it takes practice. Just like a baby who doesn't know how to walk, take a couple of steps, you fall down. The thing is, you get back up, try again. It gets easier the more you practice it. Mindfulness techniques can be really effective in managing and reducing stress, which in turn can help prevent and alleviate symptoms of burnout. We know through many studies that meditation can reduce negative ruminating thoughts, improve emotional regulation, enhance self-awareness. It promotes relaxation, improves focus and concentration, and can foster resilience. Again, remember that while mindfulness can be a very powerful tool in managing stress and preventing burnout, it's not a standalone cure or solution. It's a tool to put in your toolbox. And to see the results that I mentioned above, practice is key. Practice is important. For some, if they've been feeling burnt out for some time, it would be important to seek professional help or consider additional strategies like establishing work life boundaries, practicing more self care, seeking social support, and if needed, seeking a more intensive mental health and wellness program. Antidote number one was learning and practicing mindfulness. The second thing you can do that's more of a long term and really helps in prevention would be developing and maintaining a good work life balance. Work life boundaries are the lines we draw between our professional and personal lives. They could be boundaries, they could be like things like physical separations, like having a dedicated workspace at home. They could be time based, like setting specific work hours, or even psychological separations, like not checking your work emails during personal time. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with. Boundaries are really important in preventing burnout. With technology, we're available around the clock, and sometimes blurred lines between work and home, especially for remote workers, um, could easily end up, you could end up working more hours than you should, than working more hours um, than what's healthy for you. So, setting clear work life boundaries helps prevent overwork and associated stress and can help us to maintain a personal life, which is really very essential for our health and happiness. Having time for personal interests, hobbies, relationships, and things that you enjoy outside of work, and really constructing clearer work life boundaries can help ensure that our personal life doesn't get eclipsed by work demands. Continual work without sufficient breaks can lead to chronic stress and eventually burnout. So, by maintaining a work life boundary, like a work life balance, we can really at least work our way towards ensuring adequate rest and recuperation, which can go a long way in preventing burnout. The boundaries can also actually end up enhancing your productivity. So, contrary to what a lot of people think, nonstop work does not equate to high productivity. We all sort of recognize that. In fact, regular breaks can enhance productivity and creativity. So, with clear work life boundaries, we can work more efficiently and effectively during our designated work hours. Boundaries promoting mental well being um, can help reduce um, work related stress significantly. The ability to disconnect from work allows you time to relax, to be mindful, to partake in activities that you enjoy, which then serves to increase life satisfaction and happiness. Remember, everyone's optimal work life boundaries are going to look different. Uh, do you have a family? Do you have small children? Do you have, intense, passionate hobbies? Everybody's boundaries are going to look different. What's important is finding a balance that suits your particular needs and your lifestyle. Setting clear boundaries really sounds like a good idea, right? But sometimes it can be more difficult than it seems. So, here are some tips to help with setting clear, concise, and effective boundaries. The first step in setting boundaries is understanding what your own physical, emotional, and mental limits are. So, really reflect on your past experiences where you felt uncomfortable, stressed, or resentful. These are likely instances where your boundaries were overstepped. Once you know your boundaries, it's important to communicate them clearly and assertively. So it's not enough to just know your boundaries, you actually have to express them to others. Uh, the lines have to be clear, and the more specific your boundary, the better. For instance, instead of saying, I need more balance in my life, you might say, something more specific like, I will not check emails after 6 p.m. or on weekends. A lot of people find it hard to say no because they fear disappointing others. Maybe there's pressure to work extra time. but it's really crucial. Saying no is a crucial part of setting boundaries, and it's one that people really struggle with. Saying no to what drains you is saying yes to what matters most to you. So if setting boundaries feels overwhelming, you can start with small ones that feel less challenging. Then as you become more comfortable, you can tackle more significant boundaries. Setting boundaries is not a one-time event. You have to consistently enforce them with others and with yourself. So that might mean reminding others and yourself of your boundaries, especially when they are tested. Um, that also can be difficult, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Make sure you're taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. It's really beneficial to have a support system like a trusted friend or a mentor, a coach, a therapist, someone to talk to when you're finding it difficult to enforce your boundaries. And really remember, it's okay for your boundaries to change over time. They don't have to be fixed. What's important is that they continue to serve your needs and your values. Setting boundaries is a form of self-respect and self-care. So it's setting boundaries is akin to making a commitment to yourself. It's about recognizing your needs and then taking the steps to meet them. Not about limiting your engagement with others, but it's about engaging in a way that respects your personal limits. And finally, another way to prevent or manage burnout is to consider attending a mental wellness retreat. And a lot of people find that hard because it feels like, putting ourselves first is often very difficult. And in going to a mental wellness retreat is putting yourself first in a very big way. And it's a form of self care, it's a form of making a commitment to yourself. These are organized getaways that are designed to promote mental health and well being. It's provided in a structured environment away from your life, away from the hustle and bustle and all of your daily commitments and things you have to think about. So it gives you an opportunity to remove yourself from the stress provoking environments, good stress or bad stress. It's all stress, right? And then you get there, you don't have to focus on anyone or anything but yourself and your personal mental health needs. The retreats usually encompass a range of activities and therapies that are designed to reduce stress, but to teach you to recognize when you're at that limit, to help you be able to alleviate feelings of anxiety, depression, that a lot of us experience when we're actively in a burnout. And they are designed to equip you with skills and techniques to maintain your mental well-being. And with that being said, I will turn this over to Anna, who will cover the next couple of slides and talk about the Healing Journey retreats and the retreat that's being hosted in Tulum, Mexico in January from the 7th to the 14th. And I will, as I said, turn it over to Anna. If you have any questions, please write them down and let us know. And I would be happy to respond to each of your questions personally. So thank you very much for attending. I hope that you found it engaging, that you learned something. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to let Anna know or to let me know. Uh, Send it to me in writing, and I will be more than happy to get back to you.
So, yes, I hope that was really informative. I really love that body scan exercise. I definitely feel better now. than the beginning of my day. So thank you so much, Laurie, for guiding us through that. Um, so yeah, I've partnered with Laurie at Healing Journey Retreats to host a mental wellness retreat to help people manage stress and burnout with mindfulness and neuroscience. So this retreat will take place in Tulum, Mexico from January the 7th, Sunday to Sunday the 14th. So hopefully that'll be easy for people to take time off work. So it's designed to help you reset, recharge, gain new perspectives about yourself, and learn coping strategies with the help of professionals while immersed in the healing energy of nature. So different retreats may offer different activities and therapies, but here are some examples of what to expect in this upcoming retreat. So we have some therapeutic sessions. So these might include things like individual counseling, group therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, or even specialized therapies like introduction to EMDR, art therapy, music therapy, and traditional and local healing modalities. We also have wellness activities such as yoga, meditation, and mindfulness exercise, like the one we just did. As a core part of the retreat schedule. So this will be, how we start our mornings, either before or after breakfast, and we do it as a group. We also offer educational workshops, which might cover topics such as stress management, resilience building, how stress affects the brain, or nutrition for mental health. So these will be led by certified professionals who are trained in facilitating group discussions and masterminds. And after lunch, we get to have some fun and incorporate some movement into our bodies. So things like hiking, swimming, or other outdoor activities like biking and snorkeling. These are all kind of part of our included excursions, promoting the link between physical health and mental well-being. In this retreat, we'll also set aside plenty of downtime for relaxation and personal reflection to make sure you have the time to, take in the day, what you've learned, and also enjoy the beautiful, serene surroundings and what it has to offer. And last but not least, of course, we offer 3 nutritious meals a day designed to support mental and physical health, while incorporating the vibrant flavors of Caribbean Sea and fresh local ingredients. So in Mexico, think like avocado bruschetta with sunflower seed cheese, something new, shrimp tacos with red salsa, and mango mousse with a hint of cacao. So yeah, consider joining us on this, 8-day, 7-night transformational mental health retreat designed to help you conquer your struggles with stress and burnout to thrive with strength and resilience. So again, this retreat is for professionals, entrepreneurs, and those seeking evidence-based strategies to recharge and prioritize their mental health. So this retreat will be guided by Laurie, who is a certified therapist and psychology professor with 25 years of teaching experience. So you'll be in expert hands. Laurie's training in crisis intervention at rehab centers for addiction and schizophrenia and other mental health issues ensures a safe space as we delve into the science behind our minds and our emotions. So like I said, our daily schedule is designed to nourish both the body and the mind. The mornings start with yoga, stretching, or meditation, and then followed by insightful workshops on neuroscience related teachings and therapeutic modalities. Then we enjoy delicious lunch and afternoons filled with fun excursions, again, like snorkeling with turtles, exploring these cenotes, which are these freshwater cave holes in the area, sound healing baths in a cave, visiting the architectural masterpiece of Azulik, somewhere in this picture. It's an amazing place. It's right here in the middle, and they have a meditation room, so it's just absolutely wonderful. And they also have brunch in the jungle cuisine. So, and yeah, I think it's also important, like I said, to have some downtime to just simply enjoy like beach and relaxing by the pool. And we also have the opportunity to try local healing traditions like Temazcal, which is like a sauna experience, and a cacao ceremony. So yeah, type in the chat, a yes if this is calling to you or if you feel drawn to it. I think last night or something was the full moon energy. So, set an intention for yourself if you feel called to this. Um, and yeah, so like why mental health retreats, So I actually designed this retreat and my business of healing journey retreats based on my own healing journey. So during the past decade of working in the tech industry, I went through several rounds of burnout myself and spiraled into anxiety and depression because I thought I could just work through it. I've been in therapy for years, and sometimes I joke that everybody needs a therapist in their lives, just because I don't feel like we've really been taught in life, at home, at school, at work, how to really like deal with our emotions and like process everything. So um, I think throughout my career, I also felt unfulfilled, despite having a good, job, a boss, good salary, and kind of filled that gap during the last 10 years with what brought me joy, which was hosting on Airbnb. So when I started 10 years ago, nobody really knew what it was. I had people staying with me on my couch in my spare bedroom, and I would take them, go on picnics with my friends and just kind of like show them around the city. And from that, I was also traveling the world. So I would stay mostly in hostels, which I preferred over Airbnbs, despite being a host myself, because they had all these daily activities, like free walking tours and like cooking classes and just, things that really brought people together. So I've made some wonderful friendships from all over the world. Um, and yeah, so I think, combining that passion for like traveling, hosting, and obviously like healing for my own, mental health struggles, um, I also decided to spend 3 months in Mexico last winter. As a Canadian, it was a bit rough. So I thought, okay, I just had gone through a really rough patch of getting laid off, and personal things that compounded the stress and just overall burnt out from work and in life, and ended up in a relapse of anxiety and depression. So anyway, when I came out of the airport in Mexico, I just felt the sun on my face and the warm air and seeing like green and forest everywhere, flowers blooming. I thought, okay, like my anxiety is like flying away by 50% already. So yeah, I think just spending time in the sun, like nourishing my body, eating well, and being, restorative and also active in some ways. I think it really like shortened that depressive episode by months and, lessened the severity of my symptoms and just kind of got me back on track a lot sooner. So I think actually, in fact, the business idea for Healing Journey Retreats was born out of Tulum when I was there in January. And I just kind of wanted to create this maybe like a pared down version of the 3 months, into a week-long experience, and hoping they would help people the way it did for me. It's kind of like that machine at the hospital that goes like to your heart, at least to like kickstart like a healing journey, and I think embark on a path of something that is, sustainable and purposeful and mindful. um, so yeah, we're currently offering a early bird special at $4.99 a night, with also monthly financing options at no extra cost. So it comes down to something like 200 to 400 a month for 6 to 12 months. The pricing is pretty on par or better than most all-inclusive resorts in Mexico for 7 nights. So even though flights are not included, but we're offering 4 excursions, so it kind of like makes up for that. And then also having access to a therapist for 8 days. I think when most therapy sessions cost anywhere from 150 to 300 an hour, I think there's immense value in that. Um, so yeah, feel free to book a personal intake call to see if the retreat is perfect fit for you, and we'll be um, having the chat here in to book a call if you feel called to that. And there are only 10 spots for this retreat for a more, intimate and inclusive experience. So 2 have already sold so far. So be sure to book yours, either a call or secure your spot with a deposit, and we'd be happy to, chat with you. And we also hope to host more retreats locally in Canada. So, there are shorter in duration, maybe like a half day or a weekend long retreats, as well as, more webinars on different mental health topics. And we also want to start offering support group sessions. So something like this, more intimate, but it's more interactive. So we can kind of all talk and share our, what's going on with our lives. And, healing is really a journey. So I think it's important to know that we're not alone and we're here for each other. So be sure to sign up to our email list and follow us on, socials to keep posted. And yes, we'll be sharing all the links in a follow-up email with the replay of the webinar. So please feel free to share that with your network if you feel like this would help them. And I think the vision for Healing Journey retreats is really to create a collective of mental wellness retreats featuring different mental health topics. So eventually we might host a retreat, say, for high functioning professionals or entrepreneurs, or one focused on anxiety, another on, let's say, finding purpose, or all things pregnancy related, or dealing with bicultural heritage, mental health in the BIPOC and LGBTQ groups. Things like that. So I think each topic will be its own retreat led by different therapist facilitators. And I envision that one day mental health retreats becomes like another way to travel, maybe like an alternative to an all-inclusive, where you just, eat and drink all day for 7 days. So this is kind of like a more mindful way to travel and, obviously to, work on yourself. So yeah, and of course, as Laurie was mentioning, like the mental health retreat can be a powerful tool in managing burnout, but it should also be used in conjunction with other ongoing strategies, such as like maintaining work-life balance that she's mentioned, practicing mindfulness and setting boundaries. So I think if you feel like you're this person and there are these pillars under you that support your mental health, you have to find what works for you. And it is a journey and it is an ongoing practice. So, we know that healing doesn't end when the retreat ends. So while a trip or vacation is truly transformative, the real test comes when you return home. So that's why we also offer an aftercare program from our retreat. So it's designed to support you in transitioning back to your familiar surroundings with ongoing check-ins and group sessions kind of tailored to your needs. So we're here to help you maintain and build upon the progress that you've made long after retreat has ended. So we hope that you join us for an unforgettable reset and start the new year on a positive, empowering note. Kick off your healing journey in 2024 by prioritizing your mental health and putting yourself first. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to keep in touch as part of the Healing Journey community, where we support and uplift each other, because again, you're not alone. And please thank yourselves for taking the time today for your mental well-being, and enjoy the rest of your day.